delivery now to fit make government consider the problem wey shippers dem dey face. Visit we office for number 4 Otuba Yodele Show Your Day Lane, Apapa. Email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting for the port of una need.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime today is the program we set for the conversation, but quickly taking you through the roads. We did tell you that there was an accident earlier on around the Egbeda corridor. It's a Sharkman flat-bodied truck that collided with a waste bin truck at Abuliodu bus stop inwards Idimu Egbeda Road. But the good news, it has been taken up, so it's a much better drive for those of you who are navigating through that corridor. It's looking pretty good at the moment. From our live cameras in the studios, we can tell you the entire stretch, if you're coming in from Secretariat connecting motorways, linking up with Chinatown, Alakpere, up to the 3rd Milan Bridge, looking pretty good at this time. Ikorodu Road is also faring pretty well as we speak right now. No major worries. And Lagos Abeokuta Expressway, it's still looking good at the moment. All right, from the Imota end, I understand they're experiencing some slow movement all the way from Sabo Roundabout inward Sabo Market Gate, but it is a smooth ride from Sabo Unimalu down to Itamaga. The return journey from Itamaga inwards Alaka is also looking pretty good, but slow approaching areas like More, Blessing Park. Okay, that's the more Blessing Park, and of course other areas of coverage are still very much in good shape. We'll be serving you more helpings as they come in from time to time. But right now, let's switch gears to have the latest news in the maritime domain, and Mike James will be taking us through that in less than 5 minutes.
Good morning, here is the maritime news. The federal government of Nigeria, through the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, continues to advocate for the formal recognition of seafarers as key workers. According to the government, this designation would provide legal protection and establish a harmonized framework between the International Labour Organization, ILO, the International Maritime Organization, IMO, and the World Health Organization, WHO, to ensure safe working conditions for seafarers and other maritime professionals. Speaking at the 353rd session of the ILO governing body held from March 10 to 20, 2025, the NIMASA's Director General, Dayo Muberola, representing the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adigbuiga Oyetola, emphasized the vital role of seafarers in global trade and supply chain continuity. He stressed the need to recognize, respect, and fairly treat maritime workers for their indispensable contribution. He said Nigeria has been at the forefront of advocacy within both the ILO and IMO for the formal designation of seafarers as key workers. In another development, the Port and Terminal Multi-Services Limited, PTML, command of the Nigeria Customs Service, NTS, has partnered with the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, to enhance transparency and strengthen anti-corruption efforts. Speaking at a lecture organized by the NCS South Zones of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, ACTU, Comptroller Tenny Mankini Dania, Customs Area Controller of the Command, urged officers to uphold transparency as a cornerstone of fairness and productivity in their work. He highlighted the ongoing modernization of the NCS, emphasizing that transparency is central to improving revenue collection, trade facilitation, and anti-smuggling initiatives. He also encouraged officers to see oversight bodies as partners in progress rather than adversaries. Comptroller Dania reiterated the command's critical role in revenue generation and trade facilitation, noting that over 80% of the service's operations are now automated, leading to greater efficiency and accountability. He further reaffirmed the NCS's commitment to transparency in revenue collection, stating that all duties are paid directly into authorized dealer banks, eliminating opportunities for manipulation. finally, in the news today, a recent poll shows strong bipartisan support for U.S. President Donald Trump's efforts to revitalize American shipbuilding, with 72% of Americans agreeing that the country should not rely on China and other foreign nations for ship production. The survey, conducted by Morning Consult for the Alliance of American Manufacturing, AAM, from March 10 to 12, polled 2,204 adults and highlighted growing concern over China's dominance in the $150 billion global shipping industry. Many respondents cited national security risks as a key reason for boosting domestic shipbuilding. Only 11% believed the U.S. should continue relying on China and other countries to build ships for both commercial and military needs. Speaking on the issue of AAM, President Scott Paul said this is one of those rare moments where there's a strong bipartisan thread here of wanting to move forward, and there's pretty good support on Capitol Hill for being aggressive on shipbuilding as well. End of quote. AAM, a policy group backed by the United Steelworkers Union and domestic manufacturers, released a poll ahead of a Monday hearing by the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative. The hearing will discuss potential measures to curb reliance on foreign-built ships, including a proposal to impose fees of up to $1.5 million on Chinese-built vessels entering U.S. And that was our maritime news. Thank you for listening. Over to Victor Oteri for the rest of the show.
Nigerian shippers cancel day to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from Port A, go enter Port B with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't share proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily lane. Papa, email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng. Allow us on top 0818-888-8895 or 0703-584-6468. Nigerian Shippers Council with the meeting now for the port of Nane.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency, and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime today is the program, and we set for the conversation this beautiful morning. And today, like I said, we're going to be navigating the high seas of shipping costs in Nigeria, looking at the challenges and solutions. If I ask you to take a guess as to who my guest is this morning, little would you know that she is a highly accomplished legal expert and business leader, not just in Nigeria, but also along the international frontiers. She serves as the chairman of the Shipping Association of Nigeria and a prominent voice in the shipping world. In addition to her role at the Shipping Association, she is also a senior partner at Primero Africa Legal, PAL, where she leads the firm's corporate governance and, of course, the compliance practice. My guest has a strong background in international tax law, maritime law, mergers and acquisitions, and capital market transactions as well. She has advised on several high-profile commercial deals in Nigeria, covering various sectors such as the real estate, infrastructure, manufacturing, banking, and telecommunications. So you know that she's really, really very rich. Her impressive resume also includes serving as the president of the Commonwealth Lawyers Association from 2011 through 2013, making her the first and only woman to hold this position. She has also held leadership roles in other organizations, including the Association of Women Solicitors of England and Wales and the Royal Commonwealth Society. As a respectable expert in her field, my guest this morning has been recognized with several awards and honors, including being awarded the Officer of the Order of Nigeria, OON, and a Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN. It's a great honor to have joining us on the phone line this morning, Mrs. Boma Ayomide Alabi, who is Chairman, Shippers Association of Nigeria. Madam, it's nice to have you join us on the program. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you very much for that kind introduction. I'm very pleased to be here with you today.
Wonderful. All right, in recent time, we've been having you speak on a whole lot of issues, especially those that are confronting shippers in Nigeria. But first things first, Mrs. Alabi, let's do some concept clarification here and demystification, if you will. What do you do at Shippers Association of Nigeria, and whose interest do you represent?
Firstly, to hear any announcements, I am at the airport, so waiting to board a flight back to Lagos.
Okay.
But who do I represent? Firstly, I chair the Shipping Lines Association of Nigeria, which is an association of mostly a container shipping lines, and literally almost 95% of container shipping into and out of Nigeria. Beyond that, I am also the president of SACFIA, which is the Employers Association representing shipping lines, shippers, freight forwarders, and effectively all those players in the maritime sector who are employers of labor in the sector.
So let's touch down a bit.
From that perspective, I speak for a very broad spectrum of the industry.
Great. So, but let's touch down a bit on this association now, the Shippers Association of Nigeria. How long has it been in existence?
SAN has been in existence for quite a bit, at least over 2 decades. I have been chairing it now for 2 years, going on 3 years. SACFIA is the creation of statutes. And for a little while it was moribund, but we have recently resurrected it because it was necessary. I'm sure you would have heard about the agreement reached with the Maritime Workers Union on minimum wage, where we agreed that we'll pay our workers a minimum wage of 200,000 naira for maritime workers, which is the highest in any industry, in any sector in the country, and well above the minimum wage recommended by the federal government. So that agreement was between MWN and SACFIA.
Okay, which is good. All right, so in terms of, before now, we've been featuring different shippers associations from the various states in Nigeria, and they also have a national body, which is known as the Nigerian Shippers Associations. So how different are the objectives of your association to that of the Nigerian Shippers Association?
We share the same objective. All of us players in the industry want one thing. We want a level playing field. We want a competitive sector so that we can compete with our, other ports in the countries around us. Remember that we have the Africa Free Trade Agreement, which means that we effectively have an Africa without borders in terms of goods and services that are produced within Africa.
Okay.
It also means that, at the competing ports, remember Nigeria is not sitting in a silo. Nigerians can choose to drop the cargo in Tema, in Takoradi, in Lome, in Abidjan, and then truck it across to Nigeria. And if we're not careful about how costly and uncompetitive it is to do business in Nigeria in terms of maritime logistics, that is exactly what will be happening. And then the jobs that should be going to our Nigerians will be going out there to Nigerians, to Togolese, to Ghanaians, and what do we say? But good luck to them.
Right.
Look at the sort of bottlenecks to get at Apapa Port. You know, you get your container, you put it on a truck. To get that truck out of the port, you know how many toll gates. When I say toll gates, it's informal, but it is there.
Right.
They would stop you, you pay this, you pay that. The cost is sufficient to put you off. You begin to look at other alternatives. Should I drop my cargo in Cotonou? Is it going to be cheaper for me? These are some of the things that Nigeria, the government needs to be looking at in order to make the maritime sector competitive.
Right. So
we are all aligned in wanting a competitive maritime sector.
Which is very, very true. So let's now touch down and begin to look at these shipping services and the high costs of shipping in Nigeria. You've just given us a kind of micro picture of what it looks like and the kind of experience that you shippers are going through. Let's now touch down on the main components of these shipping costs that we're talking about and how they impact businesses and consumers. Talk to our listeners this morning. What are the components of these high costs?
Well, the high costs, a lot of the government agencies can just impose or raise their rates without reference to the businesses and stakeholders who are in the industry. And of course, ultimately, where does that cost go? It goes to the Nigerian consumer, the Nigerian exporter, because it will be passed on one way or the other. So it effectively is an indirect tax on all of us Nigerians. Because whether you like it or not, we are a trading nation. We import and we export. And so if you're putting a lot of charges on that process, then indirectly you're taxing all of us. And at the end of the day, are the charges commensurate to the services you're providing for us? And I'll say not. The Nigerian ports are among the five most expensive in the entire world. And yet, in terms of efficiency, we're below 200. So from the bottom up in efficiency, we're first side. From the top up in costs, we're first side.
All right.
How do you marry the cost and the efficiency? That's what we're asking for as an industry. When inefficient, the time it takes to load, offload, and turn around a vessel here is incredibly slow and inefficient. Compare it to Singapore, where you can turn around the vessel in hours, and yet the cost of berthing and everything and all the costs included is under $30,000.
Which is
in Nigeria. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I want to say that, which is quite unfortunate, Mrs. Olabi, but I'm just curious here. I thought we went the way of privatization, we went the way of concessioning since 2006, and one would expect it that things would have been better ever since. How did we find ourselves on this road?
Exactly. Good question. So we have concession reports, and therefore those terminal operators have the job of developing their terminals. That is part of the concession agreement. Now, of course, Nigerian Ports Authority also has some duties and services that they provide. On all the services they provide, they charge. They send you a tugboat to come and move your vessel in, they charge you first. And they've been increasing the rates. So this narrative of, we've not increased rates in 32 years is disingenuous. It's not correct. They've been increasing rates.
Okay.
This is one aspect that has not been increased in 32 years. But this is the aspect that is part of what you concessioned out. Yes, they've got to do the queue walls and so on and so forth. But does that justify your 15% increase? I don't think so.
Okay. I know.
When you're doing this sort of thing, you have to look at what is the competition doing and how will this impact on the market. Our ports are emptying. Cargo is moving elsewhere because of the high cost. You add this 15%, you're going to have even more, people voting with their feet. When we take the cargo elsewhere, our ports will be emptier and emptier.
Right.
We won't create jobs. We won't, at the end of the day, let me give you a true statistic. One terminal one port,
Right.
Tema, in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
In Tema, there are several terminals. One terminal in Tema is doing more cargoes than the entire Nigerian ports put together.
Wow.
All the Nigerian ports. Why is that? It has to be because they're not competitive.
All right then.
And where is all that cargo going? Ghana has less people than than Lagos. Excuse me.
All right.
The entire population of Ghana is not up to the population of Lagos. And yet, one terminal in Ghana is doing more cargo than the entire Nigeria put together.
All right then. I'm going to
together.
Yes.
Where is that cargo going? It's coming to Nigeria.
which is very
Where
very
the population is.
right, which is very very true. But I'm going to hold you on a bit here, Mrs. Alabi. We're going to take a short break right now. If you're wondering who's speaking with me this morning, I have the chairman, Shippers Association of Nigeria, Mrs. Boma Alabi, OONSAN. We're going to take a short break. When we return, she will talk to us, especially some of these rates, these surcharges, the freights that are being charged, and of course its impact on you and I. And then we also touch down on how this will, these global economic trends, such as inflation, such as exchange rate, how they are affecting shipping costs in Nigeria. And we also hear from you too, 080-99-120-777. A brief break, we'll be back.
Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos. Or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime today is the program, and I still have with me on the line this morning, I have Mrs. Boma Alabi, who is the chairman, Nigerian Shippers Association, and we're talking of the high costs of shipping services in Nigeria. We're looking at the challenges, also trying to delve into solutions. Ekpe corridor this morning, super vehicular movement has been experienced from Mujoda, connecting areas like Eredo and Iragumi up to Itamaru, as well as Itaopo and Ayeturu Junction. All those areas looking impressively good as we speak. General Hospital also looking good as well, linking the T Junction and as well as Kyosho and K2. All those areas looking pretty fine. Those of you navigating to the island, you're still having it pretty good on the Yanowuru end, linking up with the Third Villan Bridge. Same for those of you coming in from Antonio K. It's still looking pretty good as well. All right then, so let's get back to the conversation. Madam, I'm sure that global trends like inflation, I'm sure that is also affecting shipping services. For those of you who are in that world, talk to us. What has been the experience for you shippers?
Well, of course, global trends are impacting on us. We're not insulated from whatever is happening in the world. But having said that, obviously, we know that we have had hyperinflation in Nigeria because of some of the policies that we have had to live with. They were necessary. I agree with the government, that we should not have sustained, what do you call it, subsidy for as long as we did.
Right.
But we're suffering through it with a view to a longer term gain. So yes, it's impacting a lot.
Okay. Do you think if the government has given a stable rate for imports, I mean, as we speak right now, it appears the importation figures are, computed based on what the market says. So do you think there should have been a stable rate that government should have imposed for imports and exports?
Well, my concern is we're very uncompetitive with our exports. Imports is not even what we need to be pushing to drive the economy, because we want to increase manufacturing, we want to increase exports, we want a balance of trade where we're exporting more than we're importing. But the exporters who are struggling to do that, agribusiness mainly, are losing so much of their goods because of the bottlenecks in our ports, which are not caused by the shipping lines. It is caused by the process, the agencies who are in those ports. By the time you bring out your, let's say, Zobo, for instance, or your cashew, to the ones to ship out of Nigeria, you're taking 3 months to get past the process to get it on board the vessel to go out of Nigeria. While you're competing African countries, it's in 1 week, 10 days.
Right.
By the time your goods go out there, they've gone off.
Okay.
They've gone bad. And then you have the high rejection rate for Nigerian agricultural produce.
Right. Which is quite
So these are the things we need to concentrate on to streamline the process, make it less cumbersome, make it cheaper, so that these, our exports can be competitive.
From what you said now, does it appear that we have those with the right knowledge handling this sector? I mean, if all of this you said now seem to be as simple as ABC, how come we're having these bottlenecks in an endless fashion, years in, year out? Is the same of the same?
Because our agencies work in silos. The NPA does not talk to customs. Customs does not talk to. They work in silos. Each one does their own thing without reference to the other.
Right.
And they don't talk, more importantly, they don't talk to the stakeholders. They don't talk to the people who are going to use those services to say, how will this work for you? They don't talk to the exporters to say, how will this work for you?
Right.
You're the ones bringing the cashew nuts. You're the ones bringing the Zobo. If we say you should go and have an export aggregation terminal, will that work for you? They don't do that. You need to consult widely before you come up with a policy. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's why we're having this constant pain.
But we have,
Constant pain,
right,
constant expenses, and it's a problem.
and these agencies,
consult sincerely.
great. All right, these agencies all work under a ministry. I mean, there's a ministry known as the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. Does it mean
Thank you.
that somebody should be harmonizing all this?
It's the job of the ministry. And I agree with you, the ministry should be more proactive in ensuring that the agencies are cohesive and work together. Not all of them are under the ministry. Customs, for instance, is not under the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
Yes. But the majority of them are. So the ministry really ought to be more proactive in making sure there's cohesion and consultation with stakeholders before any policies are made. And we don't see that happening in the industry. I'm sorry. We simply do not see it.
Mr. Labi, let's look at the way forward now, even as we gradually wind towards the end of the program this morning. If you were to be, sitting in front of Mr. President this morning, what would be advised in terms of how we can really, really make our ports competitive and how we can change things for shippers in Nigeria?
Sitting in front of Mr. President right now, I'll be saying to him, Mr. President, I know you mean well for Nigeria, and therefore I will advise you to tell those ministers under your watch. You appointed them to interact with stakeholders, consult with us, and break down the silos between their own communication and how they work, so that trade and marine and blue economy and interior are talking to each other before each one goes off to make a policy that is harmful to our competitiveness in trade and industry. Mr. President, please tell Nigerian Ports Authority to put a pause to this 15% increase in rates until we understand the implications of it and how it's hurting business, and look at other possibilities of achieving the same thing without causing the harm that this it will cause to our competitiveness against our other African ports. Mr. President, remember that Nigeria is not standing alone. There are other ports in Abidjan, in Cotonou, in Tema, in Takoradi, and the fact is goods from Nigeria are moving to those ports because Nigeria is not competitive. Mr. President, it is in your hands to make this change.
Right.
It's in your gift. Do it. That's what I would say to you.
All right. So for your association, what kind of engagements have you been able to carry out? I mean, for those who are within this sector, the shippers are the the receiving end of all of these costs and all of that. So what engagements have you done in order to bring this to the attention of the authorities?
Well, that's why I've been engaging with the media. I'm writing to the minister, and I've been engaging with the agencies as much as I can, where they've been giving me the opportunity to do so.
Okay. And any feedback yet from the government, from what you've been doing?
Not so far, but I'm not giving up. We will continue because it's in the best interest of the economy, it's in the best interest of Nigeria.
Right. Have you engaged in Nigerian Shippers Council?
We've been trying to get a meeting. We have continuous engagement. We had a stakeholders meeting where we made our views very clear to them, and they convened that stakeholders meeting in fairness to them. So the Nigerian Ports Authority was there, Customs was there, and we made our views very clear.
All right. So moving forward, policy, like you said, is very, very crucial. What kind of policies do you think will really re-enhance business on our ports? We're losing cargo to neighboring countries, Togo, Ghana, like you said, and that's not good for our business. I mean, our contribution to the GDP is going to be relatively low when you look at our competitiveness. So what would you recommend?
I already made the recommendation that all agencies must consult with stakeholders and work together so that they're not coming out with policies individually without taking the full picture into account. This is what is causing the problem.
Right. Okay, then. We have to terminate the conversation at this point, but let me say a very, very big thank you to you, madam, for joining us. Thank you for connecting with us on the program this morning.
My pleasure and my privilege. Thank you very much.
All right. We hope to have you in the studio someday so that we can have a better conversation right here as well. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Okay, then. So I've been speaking with Mrs. Boma Ayomide Alabi, who is, of course, the chairman of the Nigerian Shippers Association. Shippers Association, of course, the chairman of the Shippers Association of Nigeria, and we've been reflecting on the high cost of shipping services in Nigeria, looking at challenges and solutions as well. We have to go. The program this morning has been produced by Mike James. I say a big thank you to Rebecca Adamu, Assistant Director of Public Relations for the Nigerian Shippers Council. Maximum shout out to Faith Ojoko in the building, and to our social media team, Okpayemi Shodunke. I appreciate you. All right. Our executive producer is Tayo Akole. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a splendid weekend. Bye.